You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV.
So we're going to talk real briefly about the Osirian initiation. The great work of the ancient mysteries, and hence the philosophic initiation, was and still is for the seeker to provide, to prove himself the truth of these teachings in the analysis of the Egyptian mysteries. By the light of our arcane knowledge, we find that the cornerstone of knowledge, which was actually a wisdom gained through initiation, had its foundation in certainty that the first great cause of existence itself was spirit. That this first and only element was the soul, and that this soul existed eternally and filled infinity. So basically, this is saying that all that really truly does exist is spirit, which is a form of consciousness, a variation of consciousness. That's all that really is here. So I'm up here talking to you guys, but I'm really standing up here talking to myself. Okay? And vice versa. When you're talking to somebody, you're talking to yourself. There's only one consciousness that exists, but if you can imagine a giant orb somewhere up in the top of the universe, for example, whatever that means to you, and then imagine trillions and trillions of fingers coming out of it, almost like a gigantic octopus with unlimited amounts of legs. Each one of those legs is a piece of that same one soul, one piece, one consciousness that's now separated itself and decided to come down into the formation of an avatar body like this and inhabit it for the purpose of experiencing life subjectively from this perspective. Every single one of us is downloading consciousness into our avatar bodies, and we are literally receiving a consistent stream of that on a daily basis. Every single moment of your life, 24 hours a day, you're receiving. The brain does not create consciousness, it downloads it. Okay, the brain downloads consciousness. He who refuses to obey this law will be destroyed in the order of creation. The fiery particles of matter ascended. It was written that heaven is above to form the luminous bodies. The heavier bodies descended and ultimately separated into earth, seas, plants, animals, and finally into the entities which became men. This is the earth plane, is what we know as hell, or the temporal, not temporary, but temporal, meaning encased in time. The ever-changing and constantly suffering plane of existence. It is below into which souls fall to gain wisdom and understanding by experiencing both joy and suffering from the eternal or cosmic. The soul preceded successive emanations of the spiritual third dimension. The soul preceded successive emanations of spiritual third density beings, more or less elevated according to their particular status of ascent or descent in the grand scale of the spiritual 3D kingdom. What it's saying here is basically, we're in a reincarnation cycle. This is where some of you may have heard me mention this book before, The Gospel of the Holy 12. It's a book which is really a scripture. It's not really even a book. It's The Gospel of the Holy 12 with 12 spelled out, Twelve. There's a few of them variations, but it's not really the Gospel of the Holy 12. And in this book, or these scriptures, which I had to pay $650 for a copy, because they're not in publication anymore. You could probably find a used copy on Amazon or eBay for like 140, 150 bucks if you're not looking for a mint copy. But when Yeshua was 12 years old, he disappeared from the modern day Bible. Where did he go? Okay, that's right. He went to India. He went to Tibet. He went to Egypt. So if you go to Egypt, make sure you go to Coptic Cairo. Okay? Coptic Cairo, there's a house there. The guide will take you to Jesus' house or Yeshua's house, because Jesus is a fake name. That means Hail Zeus. But Yeshua's house is still there, where him and his mother lived, where he went there to study and learn what? The Egyptian mysteries. This is why in my book, if you're reading my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, when you start to analyze, I put side by side the words of Yeshua from the New Testament of the Bible and the words of Thoth the Atlantean from the land of Chem. You start to see the words are almost identical. So you start to realize that, wow, Yeshua is reciting what he learned at the Egyptian mystery schools. That's what he's saying. Everything that he's saying, anywhere where he's referenced as talking, can be backed up into the Emerald Tablets, which predate the Bible by tens of thousands of years. Okay? As we all know, the Bible it's a good source of information for historical content, and there are some good parts in it that you can actually utilize and implement in your life. A lot of it came from ancient texts. The Bible was written between 100 AD to 900 AD. Okay, just so you know, nothing was written in real time. Nobody was walking around etching things into stone and writing things on papyrus while people were saying, "Oh, let me write this down right quick. He's saying something good." Nah, didn't happen. The Bible was copied from the Enuma Elish, the Seven Tablets of Creation, the Atra Asis epic. Those two are most of the Old Testament. Then you have the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is really the book of going forth by day. For example, Moses, the 10 Commandments came from the 42 Laws of Ma'at, not from, what they told you it came from. A lot of that was, just a little ad-lib there. And there's a lot of really bad translations as well, but even going into the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Mahabharata, the Indian Vedas have, just some inspiration from there in the Bible, in Proverbs. Just so much of it was just taken from old texts that already existed and then put together in a way and concocted in a way where it's really the truth hiding in plain sight. Yeah, we copied this stuff, but at the same time, we're going to use it to control you. And we're only going to let you read a small amount of it because when you come over here, we're going to read you a couple of nice verses that you actually like, make you feel good on the inside. And then when you walk out of here, we know that human beings are lazy by nature, and they're not going to really dig into this anyway. Like we talked about in the beginning of class, that one movie, The Book of Eli, he realized if he can get his hand on one of those Bibles, he can take over the entire planet. Oh wow, this is really tiny on the next page. Okay, so Osiris. Who is Osiris? Osiris is the first initiate, the first one to start the Egyptian mystery schools. Okay? Osiris is always depicted as being green. You're never going to see him any other color. He's always green. Everywhere you look in Egypt, and I've been all over Egypt, up, down, I've been to every single temple, every ancient site you could think of, he's always green, okay? I truly believe that his skin was green, just my personal opinion. There's blue beings, we look at the Indian gods, which were really, again, these Atlantean Anunnaki people. They were blue, and you had the green. You even had a blue Egyptian, Ra, not Amun-Ra, but the Ra. He was a blue god. Maybe symbolizing blue blood even, but these people were different colors. The further you go back in time, the more interesting the people looked on this planet. And how do we know this? The more bodies we dig up, we start finding gigantic, massive, elongated skulls that can't be made from skull binding. Why? Well, first of all, they only have one parietal plate and human beings have two. Oops, one parietal plate's missing. That's a bad thing. So that means they're not human beings, at least Homo sapiens. They walk upright, they stand upright. They have their bipedal, bilateral organisms just like us, but they're not Homo sapien sapien. And we found now tens of thousands of these around the planet. So there were a lot of interesting people on this planet in ancient times. There's records of different dwarf societies and all just so many different things that just really are amazing. And so the further back you go, the more incredible the story becomes. The closer you come to our current era, the more boring and dull and dry it kind of gets. It's really amazing. But when I look at a science fiction movie, I always go, that's real. That's where we're really at. That's what it should be. And then I see, I've got to turn my key to turn on a combustion engine, and I get a little upset every now and then. We shouldn't be driving combustion engines in 2019. But based on my research from when I was a kid, I thought that we'd be, traveling the stars by now. There's a small percentage of people doing that, the elite of the elites, but we don't have access as of yet. Because as I said in one of my lives the other day, my destiny is not to die on this planet. I'm going to leave this planet at some time in the future. All things in all universes move according to law. And the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The main objective is to reveal the workings of the law which connect man the material and man the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature and so strengthen his will that is able to concentrate all powers of his being on and in the plane he desires. That's manifestation. The great search for light, life, and love only begins on the material plane. Carried into its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is the first step, then comes the higher goal of spiritual attainment. Concealed in the words of thought are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge brought to bear upon these tablets will open many new fields for thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your own consciousness awakens the deep-seated understanding which is an inherent quality of the soul. This is powerful stuff. This is Thoth opening his first initiation for his school, his mystery teachings, and telling people that this information that I'm talking to and that I'm also leaving behind is so powerful, it's going to give you the power to literally manifest anything that you literally desire if you can reach these levels of consciousness. And the power that's in here, there's also comes with this a warning, because no matter whatever you want good to bring into your life, you can also bring bad. These things work in both ways, both polarities, yin and yang. So if you have a lot of bad things happening to you, you have to really sit down and begin to analyze what could be the root cause of this, and stop looking externally to other people and blaming them. Start looking internally to yourself and figuring out, what can I do to change this situation? This is the biggest problem that we have. We're always looking externally. We've been programmed to do that. What do you do when you're learning a religion? You got to seek salvation. You got to look externally. You got to go beg a magic sky wizard with a magic wand for your own salvation. You're taught, look out, look out, look out. Everything is out. When something goes wrong, blame this person, blame that person. It's his fault, it's her fault, it's this fault, it's that fault. It's always external, but never internal. So we've been programmed, everything is on the outside, nothing's on the inside. That's why there's a lot of people walking around. I call them soulless avatars operating on matrix programming. That's what a lot of us are. Just floating through this matrix like programs. And as soon as somebody says one thing, that has any level of light into it, that's when Agent Smith jumps into that body, and you can't say that, you can't talk about that. Let's get back to talking about this garbage. Let's get back to talking about this reality series that I just saw. And so-and-so did this to that, and so-and-so cheated on so-and-so with whom with this, and we don't know who baby it is, and all this other kind of crazy stuff. So then you divert and you go back to talking about the foolishness. So it's like a crab in a bucket. Crab tries to get out, the other crab grabs it and pulls it back down again. But you have to understand, all this is depending on your level of perception and your level of consciousness, how you elevate your mind. And the fact that everybody's here right now, instead of out partying or having a good time or doing so many other things that you guys can be doing, including even making money to pay your bills, you're here. Not only are you here, but you paid to be here. So it's saying that you're willing to take the steps needed to get to the next level. And this is the kind of forward thinking that it takes. This is the kind of action that it takes to change the planet, to change the civilization. This world, I always tell people, they always go, why are you putting all this stuff out there, blah, blah, blah. And, why are you trying to link up with people who got money and millionaires, and why are you trying to be in corporations and do it? Why? I can't change the world sitting in a robe and slippers with a prepaid cell phone, making posts on Instagram. It's not gonna work, guys. Okay? That's not gonna work. It takes action. You have to literally put forth the energy, the effort, the finances, and the action. And you gotta link up with power people and make power plays. You think I'm here hanging out with Damon? He's a great guy, now that I met him. But this is a power guy. He's a power guy. No matter what anybody thinks of him, this guy is a power guy. He's manipulated the matrix from a very early age. He knows how to play all the different games. and he put himself in power positions, and he's plugged into a lot of power people. So you gotta realize, everybody knows somebody that you don't know. This is what Thoth knew. This is why he left the tablets behind. When he dropped these tablets, he knew that 7.5 billion people weren't gonna read this in 2019, but I've read them, I've analyzed them, I've written about them. St. Thomas Aquinas has written about them. The Queen of Sheba, Dr. Michael Doreal, Roger Bacon. I mean, I could just keep Isaac Newton. I could just keep going on and on. Now, who's studying these famous people? Now they're reading them, and now you're reading them. And then guess what happens? You're going to tell somebody else about them, and it keeps going on. And before you know it, billions of people have downloaded Thoth's consciousness. Every time you read a book, every time you study something like being in this mystery school, you're downloading information into your body. Literally, you're sucking it right in, you're downloading it and storing it on your DNA. And then when you have offspring, they have an opportunity of taking advantage of some of that new reprogramming that you've just given yourself. Everything is a fractal, which I talk about a lot in my fractal holographic theory. If I have time tomorrow, I'll go into it a little bit. I actually have a book coming out called Fractal Holographic Universe. It's coming out in probably about a month and a half, 2 months. And that's just one of many books. I have 11 new books coming out. I have so many books coming out that the editor said, we got to put them on a time scale. You can't drop them all at once. I was like, why? Just drop them out there, I don't care. But she said, you can put them on a time. So over the course of 2020, 11 new books will be released. I've already done the work. The books are already done. But Fractal Holographic Universe is one of the books. So the books will vary in size. It won't be all, this thick. Some good tutorials, some good application type content as well. Hi, I'm Billy Carson, researcher, speaker, and best-selling author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. I'm inviting you to join me on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv to enjoy hours of great programming, learn the secrets of ancient Egypt, unexplained structures on the moon and Mars, financial literacy, holistic and healthy lifestyles. Go now to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv and get 3 days free. While there, you can enter to win a Rolls Royce. That's ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV.
Hi, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm the president of Forbidden Knowledge. We have an amazing investment opportunity here for anyone who wants to buy shares in Forbidden Knowledge. The money that's generated from this crowdfunding platform is going to be used to bring on a new content acquisitions partner. We're going to hire a new in-house graphics designer, a social media manager, put together a customer service team and a customer service management program that will organize and satisfy all the different legs of Forbidden Knowledge Inc., as well as, and of course, make more improved high quality streaming content for the Forbidden Knowledge TV platform, which right now is featured on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iOS and Android apps, and also, of course, the web. The streaming platform is a year old right now and doing very, very well. And we're looking for your support where you can not only be a conscious customer, but also be a part owner in an amazing opportunity that includes streaming TV, book publishing, and e-commerce. Grow with us and earn with us. Forbidden Knowledge Inc.